Once upon a time, in the grand kingdom of Aurelia, there was a king who loved only one thing more than his people, his golden crown. But what his people didn't know was that King Ulric had a plan to keep his crown and his power forever, no matter the cost. King Ulric was known for his wealth, his fine robes, and his dazzling golden crown, but as time passed he feared that he might one day lose his power. The crown weighed heavily on his head, not because of its size but because he feared losing the throne. He began to lock up resources that belonged to his people, storing food, water, and treasures, keeping them for himself and his advisors. As the king's vaults grew richer, the people of Aurelia grew poorer. Water fountains dried up, food became scarce, and the people started to worry. They didn't know what the king was up to. They only knew that life was getting harder each day. But no one dared question the king, afraid of his wrath. One stormy night, a mysterious stranger arrived at the palace gates, a traveler with ragged clothes but eyes that sparkled with wisdom. She called herself Elda. She requested an audience with the king, claiming to have the knowledge that could make him the richest ruler in all the lands. Intrigued, King Ulric invited her into the grand hall. "Your Majesty," Elda said, her voice smooth and mesmerizing, "I know of a way to make your crown last forever, but it requires a sacrifice of trust." The king leaned forward, eager and suspicious. "Tell me, stranger, what must I do?" he asked. Elda paused, then spoke. "Trust your people. Allow them access to the resources you've kept hidden, and they will build a kingdom richer than you could imagine." The king was torn. For years he had believed that hoarding his kingdom's riches was the way to preserve his power, but Elda's words echoed in his mind. Could trust be the key, he thought, feeling a strange uncertainty. As days passed, news of the king's hidden supplies began to spread, whispered among villagers and merchants. A spark of rebellion ignited, and soon the people of Aurelia were demanding answers. They gathered at the palace gates, voices united in a chorus of frustration and need. Watching his people, the king knew that he had two choices: maintain his iron grip and risk losing his throne, or share his kingdom's resources and risk losing control in a different way. With a deep breath, King Ulric decided to take Elda's advice. King Ulric unlocked the palace vaults, releasing food, water, and treasures to the people. They rejoiced, and with the king's new trust, they worked together to rebuild Aurelia, stronger than ever. Elda had been right. The kingdom flourished, and the people respected their king for his decision. In the end, Ulric found that sharing his power made him a far greater ruler than hoarding it ever had. From that day forward, King Ulric kept his crown not because of fear, but because his people chose to honor him. The kingdom of Aurelia became a place of trust and shared wealth, and the lesson spread far beyond its borders. True strength comes from trust, not control.